Hey guys, Jonathan Soda here, back again doing another movie review, and today we'll be reviewing Django Unchained. Now, Django Unchained is directed by Quentin Tarantino and features Jamie Foxx, Christoph Waltz, Leonardo DiCaprio, Samuel L. Jackson, Kerry Washington, Walton Goggins, Dennis Christopher, Franco Nero, Jonah Hill, Zoe Bell, Laura Coyote, Bruce Dern, Ado Asando, and Don Johnson. So, the plot of Django Unchained is very simple, like a lot of his other movies. So the plot is that Django Unchained takes place during like the feminist times, the times where black people would get treated like slaves, like it would be slavery times for them, and like they get tortured and all of that, and like you know everyone knows about those times, and like what they would say the N word a lot in those times. So yeah. So yeah, what else was I gonna say? So yeah, it takes place during those times, and we follow this man named Django, who is sort of a slave. He was at first a slave, and he would get tortured and he would get whipped in the back. So we follow with Django. So Django is like is being a slave, and like he gets rescued from slavery by this man named Dr. King Schultz. So Dr. Schultz, he was a dentist, but like he hadn't studied dentist. He hadn't been a dentist for like 5 years. He's mostly just been a bounty hunter, and like he despises slavery, and he likes killing white people that always put put black people into slavery. So yeah, he loves doing that, and he loves like killing criminals for money, and yeah, so like once he rescues Django, he kills the people that were putting him as slaves, and like he like he gets like the people that were he gets the people that were being enslaved with him to get free and kill the remaining one that was slaving them. And so once that happens, he Dr. King Schultz promises Django freedom if he helps him find the Brittle brothers. So the Brittle brothers are like a group of are like three brothers who were criminals that like if you kill them they are worth so much money. So like if like he helps him find the Brittle brothers, then he'll find them get him in slavery, like I said. So they do them. They find the Brittle brothers, and Django kills two of them. He wasn't supposed to do that, but like Dr. King Schultz doesn't make a big deal about it. He's not mad about it. So, but like King Schultz kills one of the Brittle brothers, and so once they do that, Django gets his does is not a slave anymore. He gets his freedom, he but like Dr. King Schultz really wants Django to stick with him through the winter, and like just like be his partner. And so like Django, like he agrees to be his partner, like he wants to be his partner. So like they do become partners. And so once he gets his freedom, what Django wants to do next is he wants to find his wife and rescue her and get her freedom with Dr. King Schultz and the help. So that's basically the plot of Django Unchained. Now, do I like Django Unchained? Yes, I really love Django Unchained. Django Unchained is probably like it's probably the bloodiest Quentin Tarantino movie. It's probably like the bloodiest movie Tarantino has ever done ever. And this movie is really dope. It's really dope. It's very action packed too. Like this movie, like the whole movie is just like getting your gun out and killing and blood and like violence and gore and just like and yeah, that's basically what this whole movie is, and it's so awesome. Like Tarantino never overdoes it. He does it like in the right amount, and it's awesome. So yeah, and what else was I gonna say? So yeah, the characters in this movie. Sorry if I stuttered it right there. Uh, so the characters in this movie are really phenomenal. Like they're like one of Tarantino's greatest. Like Django, he is a really good character. you really buy that like this guy like wants his freedom, and he wants to rescue his wife from Candyland, and you really buy that he really loves his wife, and he really wants her to get her freedom. And like you see a lot of flashback between him and his wife when they were slaveries, and you see like some heartbreaking moments of Django's wife being whipped, and it's kind of sad. And like and yeah, so what else was I gonna say? So yeah, and like Django, he's a badass too. Like he can shoot really well. Like he has really good aiming and shooting, and like he gets trained a little bit with Dr. King Schultz in the winter, and like he's shooting a snowman and all of that. And you can tell that like he has really good aim, and like I love how like once he's done shooting, he just goes. And yeah, I don't know what that's called, but like I love when he does that. So and Dr. King Schultz is really good at shooting too. Like he's really good at shooting. He's as good as Django, to be honest. And like he does the same thing Django does too. And I really like how he does that. And yeah, Django's a really good character. And Dr. King Schultz is a really good character. He's as good as Django. Don't get me wrong, because I said really good. Dr. King Schultz, he is really good. You really buy that this guy really wants to, like, he really despises slavery. You can tell that he really cares for Django as his partner and as his friend too. And you can tell that Dr. King Schultz just like really wants to help him out with giving his wife his freedom. So yeah, and you can really tell like he really wants to give a lot of black people freedom. Like you can tell like he's really caring on black people. Like he's one of the rarest white people in those times. So yeah, he's a really good character. And yeah, and what else was I gonna say? So yeah, Dr. King Schultz, like he's really cool when he like shoots people too, and like I really like the choice he makes at the end. It's not I won't give it away, but like it's a really good choice he makes at the end. But what else was I gonna say? Yeah. So yeah, and Dr. King Schultz, he has a couple good lines too. Like I really like there's like long talking scenes between him and Django. Like they're like near a campfire, and like they're talking, and like he's talking about like his wife's name Broomhilda was like a character's name in a story with like a dragon and all of that. And like yeah, I really like all this talking scenes with them. And like I really like that whole like talking scene with like the dinner they have with Calvin Candy and his people, and like that whole scene goes by for a long time, but it's still really entertaining, and it's interesting with all the talking scenes they have. And Dr. Schultz, like I love how sarcastic he gets with Calvin Candy, and also Calvin Candy is the main villain in this movie, and he's a good villain too. But we're talking about Dr. Schultz right now. But yeah, and Dr. Schultz, I like all the scenes with him like talking with Calvin Candy, and I love how he's like he's like the thing to like save Django, and like he's the thing to not make Django so pointless. And like I love how like what else was I was gonna say? Yeah, I just love his character. Yeah. So and he's played by Christoph Waltz too. He's played amazingly by Christoph Waltz. As you guys may know, Christoph Waltz was in Inglorious Bastards. He played a villain in that movie, but here he plays an excellent hero, and I love that. So what else was I gonna say? As I said, Calvin Candy is a really good villain. He's really evil. Like you can tell, this guy is really evil, and like he has so many black people as slaves, and he has so many um, black girls as maids and all of that, and like his slaves and all of that, and Broomhilda, Django's wife, being one of them, and like there's even like a scene where like a black person like runs away because like he doesn't want to be his slave anymore. Like he runs away from Candyland, and like him, Django, and Schultz like all run into him, and like Django and like Calvin Candy's like talking to him like, you know, I bought you. You were supposed to fight in 3 fights and all of that, and like at that part, Django was sort of like showing like his badass side when like he lets Calvin Candy's like people and like his dogs torture him. So yeah, and like what else was I gonna say? And like in the dinner part, in the long dinner part, you can tell that Calvin Candy is evil, and like there's this scene where like he has like a skull. He brings out a skull head, and like he tells him that the skull head is old Ben, and like he served him, his daddy, and his daddy's daddy, and like his his father like would always shave him with the scalp, and like he's always wondering like why didn't my daddy ever kill? No. The um old Ben is always like shaving. He's always shaving. Yeah, he's always shaving his father, and he's like, "Why didn't old Ben ever kill him? It would have been very easy for him to like slit his throat right there." And like he like takes off like a piece of old Ben's skull, and like you can tell that there's like three distinct dimples and all of that, and like he's telling him, "If you guys," and like he's yelling at them, he's like, "If you guys don't sit your asses down, you will have the same exact dimples as old Ben here." And all of that, and yeah, and he's played excellently by Leonardo DiCaprio too. And I forgot to mention too that um, Django is played very amazing and so excellent, and so he's played like awesomely by Jamie Foxx, and like Jamie Foxx really pulls off this performance really well. So yeah, and what else was I gonna say? Who else is there? I really like Django's wife, Broomhilda. You really buy that she doesn't want to be. She does not love. She does not like being in Calvin Candy's possession. She hates being a slave, and like you can tell, like she hates being tortured and all of that. And like yeah, and like I really love her, and I like how I like all the scenes between her and Django. Like towards the okay, I'm not gonna spoil it here, but like and yeah, what else was I gonna say? Let me think. Oh yeah, this movie, like I forgot to mention, Django has some good lines too. Like he has some awesome lines. Like when he kills the Brittle brothers, like when he kills John Brittle, he's like, "I like the way you die, boy," and that was sort of a comeback line to John Brittle because John Brittle would always tell him, "I like the way you beg, boy." So yeah, that was really cool. So what else was I gonna say? Yeah, and another cool line that Django has is like when Dr. King Schultz is aiming for Lil Raj Brittle, and like Schultz is like, "Are you sure that's him?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm sure." And he's like, "Are you positive that's him?" And he's like, "What is?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, "You don't know if you're positive?" And he's like, "I don't know what positive means." And he's like, "Well, it means are you sure?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so like, and then like and then Schultz shoots Lil Raj, and then he's like, "I'm positive he did." Yeah, that line is so awesome. And like there's even like this cool moment between like these starter KKK things, which they have like white bags as masks. They don't have like spiky hoods, but like there's like a funny scene between them where like there's this guy named Big Daddy who assembles like this group of baghead people to try to kill Django and Schultz for killing the Brittle brothers, and like this part's really funny. Like they're all like having a discussion together, and like with all their masks on, they're like, "I can't see shit through this mask," and then like they're taking their mask off and like trying to like make their eye holes bigger, and they're like, "Shit, I made mine worse," and like they're like, "Nobody," and then they're like, "Did anyone bring an extra bag?" And he's like, "Nobody brought an extra bag. I'm just asking." And then there's this one other part where they're like, "We can't see shit," and then they're like, and then there's this other guy where he's like, you all can't, you all are so fucking ungrateful. My wife spent all day making all these fucking bags for all you ungrateful sons of bitches." Yeah, that scene is so funny. That scene, yeah, that scene like is probably one of the most funniest scenes in here, and that's really like a good comedy moment that Tarantino put in this movie, and it was really necessary, and it could tell, and in that scene alone, you could tell that the KKKs could be dumb as well, and yeah, so what else was I gonna say? Yeah, all the actors do an amazing job. Like I said, Kerry Washington is amazing as Broomhilda. Walton Goggins as one of Calvin Candy's people. Billy Crash is amazing, and Walton Goggins does appear in the next two Quentin Tarantino movies, Hateful Eight and Hollywood, and like he's still amazing in those movies. But I'll get to those. Um, yeah, but here he pulls off an excellent performance, and I love that scene where he's never mind, never mind. I won't get into it. I'll probably get into spoilers once I do my ranking video of all Quentin Tarantino movies, but we're just not there yet. But like, I really love like, and like, I love how like this scene too has a lot of scenes has a lot of scenes where like they shoot like white boys balls, and I'm like, holy shit, like they shoot them, and you like the blood comes out, and I'm like, holy shit. And like like when Django is like shooting these whole bunch of people in a house, like there's this naked guy who is taking a bath, and like he shoots his balls, and you can actually see like how his balls get shot, and I'm like, holy shit. And then like yeah, and then yeah, and what else was I gonna say? Leo, Dennis Christopher as Leo Mogi. What was I gonna say? What's his name? Who was he to Calvin Candy? I think he was Calvin Candy's lawyer. He was really good too. I think I saw Dennis Christopher in the old It movie, but in that movie he was kind of bad in that movie, but here he's really good. And Franco Nero as I forgot the guy's name. I think Franco Nero plays like Calvin Candy's guy with the white beard. I forgot his name, but like he's really good in the movie. And Jonah Hill as one of the bag people is really good too. Zoe Bell is in this movie too. You guys might remember Zoe Bell was in Death Proof and Kill Bill. She was also in Inglourious Basterds too, but she played a minor character in that movie. And in here, Zoe Bell pulls off a pretty good performance. Where she plays a tracker who has like a red mask over her mouth and nose, and like you can only see her eyes, but like she pulls off a really good performance in here. And like Laura Coyote as Calvin Candy's sister was pretty good too. And Bruce Dern as he played this old man that kept Django at first, but like it was through a flashback, and he only showed up in one scene. He was good in that movie. He was good in that scene. So, and Bruce Dern, he shows up in Quentin Tarantino's next two movies too, but I'll get to that. And I really like Bruce Dern as an actor too. Like I like his voice, and I like how he acts too. And yeah, Otto Wasondon as D'Artagnan. D'Artagnan was one of Calvin Candy's slaves, and like he was really good too. And I really like all the scenes where he's just staring at Django like, you're a free black guy, and I'm not. I'm jealous. Like he's staring at him like that. He's not saying that. He's just staring at him like that. And like I really like that scene. And like I really like Don Johnson as Big Daddy. He was excellent. And yeah, he was really good as Big Daddy. So what else was I gonna say? The soundtrack to this movie is awesome. Like the soundtrack fits to this movie. Like they bring pop and rap songs from. They bring pop and rap songs, yeah, and like they put it like in a lot of shooting scenes and a lot of like random scenes, and it all works really well, and it's really cool. And they bring some country songs in here too, and it all works for the movie. And like there's this cool shootout scene. I'm not gonna say where it occurs at because it's a spoiler, but like there's this really cool bloody shootout scene where it's just in one room, and like a lot of people are coming in and like trying to like kill Django, and like he's just taking out his guns and going poof, poof. And like when they run out of ammo, he just like takes like the guns from dead people or like from the person he just shot and all of that. And like I love that scene, and like there's like a rap song playing in that scene, and like it's so awesome. And yeah, and what else was I gonna say? What else I can say? The setting really fits in here. Like the setting is really good. Like the scenery at times feels really real. Like it does feel like it's a really good spaghetti western setting, and I love the setting in here. And like I love the whole setting of the Calvin Candy house. That was a cool setting too. So Calvin Candy's house was called Candyland actually. So yeah, and that was a good name for his house. Um, what else was I gonna say? The pacing to this movie is pretty good. It's pretty good. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes long. It goes by pretty fast, but there are some long scenes like that go by kind of slow. Like when they're on their way to Candyland and all of that. That scene kind of goes by slow, but that's not a huge problem about it. But the pacing is still pretty good. Yeah. The action, like I said, it's all good, and like I love the way like when they shoot them, and like when they shoot them like lines like a line of blood comes out of them, like showing that a bullet is coming out of them, like yeah, and like it's all done really well. So what else was I gonna say? I don't really have any. The only flaws I have with this movie is that at times like there is unnecessary comedy in there. Don't get me wrong, the comedy is pretty funny. But like it's kind of unnecessary to put it in there because like you're barely getting over something sad and like they throw in something funny in there and like you're supposed to be in a very serious situation but like then something funny happens and I'm like, okay, I just it's just pretty weird how that happens. So yeah, but it's still pretty cool. What else was I gonna say? What else was I gonna say? Let me think. Is there anything else for me to talk about? Let me think. Anything else? I think that's it. To rate this movie, I definitely rated an A+. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah. So, bye and see you all in the next review.